God said, I'll give you a son in 2015. I was like, why are you telling me this? Like, I'm not even married.
So,
It's
so
funny.
we've talked about what the journals, but also what the journey means to me. So, what does it mean to you? Like, what is birthing these journals mean to you?
A lot, actually. It's so interesting. The minute you asked that question, I just saw my son's smiling face.
Yeah.
Like right next to the journals, it means a lot to me. It's so interesting how two people can go through similar experiences, and I think that's where we can, like even as we were praying together and everything, it made sense why the Holy Spirit asked you to reach out, because it's like similarities in our experiences in childhood and everything. But for me, it did something. Instead of internalizing, I think at some point I internalized it. But the more I got closer to God, the more I realized that I don't have to carry certain things, right? So I've also talked about this. I remember when I was 14, I was watching a movie. It was a Nigerian movie. And I saw this couple, right? And the way they were relating with each other. I remember who was in the movie. Eukaria Anobi, Tony Umez. And I remember he had just come from work. And in the movie, she walks outside, grabs his suitcase or briefcase, and they're talking and they're happy and everything. But they hadn't, now that I'm talking about it, I realized that the Holy Spirit just literally highlighted this. In the movie, they were struggling to have a child. But I never, for some reason, I've never remembered this part. I only remember the love that they had. And they were so united, right? And I remember saying, and I was 14, and this moment has stayed with me. And I was like, when I grow up, this is the kind of home and love I want. I want my children to feel that, what I'm feeling through the screens. So for me, the minute the Holy Spirit started drawing me and I started growing deeper and deeper into intimacy and giving God a yes and, walking in obedience, I knew that there was more. That there's certain things that imprinted me that were not from God. There's certain identities I was walking in that was not from God. There's certain labels I was walking in that was not from God. God has something. And so as I grew closer to him, I was more in search of what God has said over what people have said, over how people have acted. I just wanted God. So there's a joke that my friends make and say, if God tells MJ, don't talk to this person, she's done, because it's like I got to this point where, and I'm God is my everything. Like that's and you see that in our journey. I'm like, no, don't come to me. I don't have nothing for you. Go to God. Experience the God that I've experienced. He can be everything, and take you through a process that will get you to where he's always wanted you to be. But he can even take you all the way back to the moments that imprinted you that shouldn't have, and he will show you what should have been. And that, for me, when I think about the journey, even the first thing I think about is my son, my husband, my son, because we've been through such a breaking and a crushing and an unraveling and a transformation that, like, I don't have the right language for it. So when I look at these journals, everything comes flashing back from when the doctor said, you can never have a child, to here we are. Like in July 2024, you're pregnant. And the Holy Spirit saying, I told you I'll give you a son. And it makes sense. I said in the intro when God said, I'll give you a son in 2015. I was like, why are you telling me this? Like, I'm not even married. The girl, like, why are you telling me this? Now it makes sense because he's telling me that I'll give you purpose. I'm telling you, I'll give you a son, but what you're going to see will not match the promise. Because I'm telling you, I'll give you a son, but year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, you're not going to see it. But hold on to this promise that I'll give you a son. And the reason you're going to have to wait is because it's birthing something It's bringing something, and that something is beyond you. It's not about me, Manny, and Asher. It's not about you, Dan, Ayana. It's not about just our small families. He breathed he breathed into our experiences to replicate to people that can relate. So when people look at me, someone who waited for 8 years, to looking at you, someone who never wanted a child, and now you're in like number 2, and someone who two women who had to go through like a transformation and a crushing to get to this point. They can see themselves in our journey. They can see themselves in us. They can see their journey in us. So when I think about what this journal means, I'm not joking when I say it means everything. It means everything. And to even know that I have something, and I've walked the journey of praying over my child. Like, I prayed over my pregnancy. I prayed over, because first they said it shouldn't have happened. And it's happened. So I'm like, if it wasn't possible and we are here, God is at work and God has to keep it, right? So every week, every day, I prayed over my baby. I prayed over my seed. But like you said, I wrote letters to my child, to my son, before I had him. And when I was pregnant, I wrote letters to him. He will grow up to see these things. So when I look at these journals, I just see all of my journey. I see key moments, and I see everything that God did. Of course, we can't capture it all, our journey in this, but the Holy Spirit captured what will bring transformation, what will bring impact, and what will bring a shift in the lives of people.
And I think it's interesting that you said, like, you did this, during pregnancy. When they tell you something is impossible, then you do it. When you're like, you're praying, you're like, oh God, you're the only one that can keep, this child. And like I said, contrast to me, not that I wasn't praying when I was pregnant with my first, but it was like, oh, pray here, pray there, pray, Lord, this is how I want delivery to be. But like I said, coming back into, as we worked on this journal, Holy Spirit was like, you're the prototype. Like, the transformation I want to do in you, like, you have your transformation, but the transformation I want to do in you, I need you to rise. And that is like, you are kind of like the evidence
that's gonna, like, the end when people actually walk the journey. And one thing I'm happy that I did in hindsight was when you were crying and you said, I don't want this. It took you weeks. Like, it took weeks for Vivienne to say, like, I'm happy about being pregnant.
Girl, it took months.
Yeah, weeks. Like, it took months. Every day we will hop on to pray, and she's like, I don't get it. Why? And while I allowed you to sit in the feelings, one thing I'm happy I did in hindsight was, let's sit in the feelings, but there's a seed growing inside you. Exactly. Unfortunately for you, and fortunately for the seed, we're going to acknowledge that the seed is here. And we're going to pray.
And change your confession.
And how you feel is not going to imprint this child. Because I remember we'll pray and the Holy Spirit will give visions about this child. What he's going to do with this child. So I was not going to sit there and let every prayer turn into tears of like, why is this baby here? Why? I'm like, okay, let's circle the why is this baby here? But we're going to do what we have to do. So even if you don't feel like it, we're praying over this child. We're going to speak over this child. We're going to write. And even in your moments of crying and not understanding, you still had revelations about the child. And that's what I'm happy about that. I didn't let the months go like, okay, let's wait for her to feel good. And then we seek the mind of God about the baby. I said, no, we're going to seek the mind of God. And we can also be in our feelings. God can bring you,
as we can take it all.
God can take all of it. And by the time you started hearing what God had to say about this child, and it didn't all come from me. You sat with God. When God told you this pregnancy is not a limitation, it's an activation. That was one of the most profound statements I'd heard about pregnancy. And I remember when you got that rhema, it shifted your posture a bit. And then also as we prayed, and the Lord would just show you things. And the Lord would show you 2 children and everything. As we prayed, you were shifting. Your posture was shifting, and you eventually aligned with the pregnancy, and now you were smiling, and I'll call you like, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant, and all of that. So I'm happy in hindsight that we walked this, that we lived these journals before it's going out there. That the Holy Spirit is like, I'll take these 2 women, equip them, transform them. I'll take their stories and do something with it. It's not about us. It's beyond. Like for me, when you open these pages, I want you to see God. I don't want you to see just MJ's story or Vivienne's story. I want women to see that God has a purpose, that God does things intentionally, that God has a design. It doesn't matter the circumstances surrounding the birth of your child, the pregnancy and everything. If you can lay it all at his feet and just look up, and just look up, he will bring you to the point where you be like, oh, I see what you were doing. Like one thing my husband and I say is like, how did we wait for 8 years? Like I look back and 8 years seems so short. But I remember that when I was in the 8 years, it felt like eternity. And I remember telling God in 2023, I said, God, if you want me to wait for 10 years, just tell me. Give me the timeline, because this is hard. And then Manny is like, my husband was like, he's not going to tell you because he's doing a bigger work, right? So you're going to have to deal with it. So yeah, this journal means a lot. Yeah.